Hey everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to part 5 of my Steins Gate 0 Let's Play. Things certainly got more intense in the last episode. There were hints of somebody who seemed to be interested in the time machine. Don't know if it's the Rounders, if it's Russia, if it's the people who went after Kirisu's house and burned it down, but we had a direct confrontation with somebody from the conference at the very beginning. So Dr. Leskinen, Maho, and Rintaro got attacked by a guy who seemed to be almost like under like hypnosis or almost like a spell. He was talking, I think he was speaking like Bible verses or something. It was all very strange. So somebody seems to be interested in the AI technology, and whether that connects to the time machine, I'm not sure yet, but yeah, so now we've got like an antagonist, but we just don't know who it is. So very interesting. And then there was also like a moment with Suzuha and Yuki towards the end trying to get closer to each other. But yeah, really excited, like now that things are getting a little bit more, like the stakes are higher. I'm definitely interested to see where the story is going to go from here, so let's get back into it and let's see what happens next. As I walked into the maid cafe, Maid Queen Yan, the cat-eared maids working there greeted me cheerfully. It was a weekday evening, so there were more open seats than usual. Mayuri had been working here for a while now. Her maid name was Mayushi Nyan Nyan. When she was a maid, she wore a long blonde wig and cat ears and looked very different from her usual self. Oh, I'm trying to remember from the last game. Did we see her in the maid, like working at the maid cafe, or am I mistaken on that?
Daru ni yobaretan da. Mou kiteru kana?
I looked toward the back corner and saw a silhouette sitting next to the window with the sun at its back.
あと、今日は知り合いが一緒なんだ。メイドカフェ初心者なんで、俺とダルの話が終わるまで、ちょっと相手してもらってもいいか。
にゃにゃ、お知り合い、どちら様かにゃ？
おい、ヒヤジョさん、こっち。
I called to Maho. She was fidgeting outside the store, apparently unwilling to come in. Is she gonna be like, she's way too young? Why are you with a child?
いや、そんなに驚かなくてもいいだろう。
しかも、背の高さから見て、小学生か
Hey,
中
there
学
we
生。
go.
違う。
信じられない。フェリスというものがありながら、新しい恋人、新しいロリ恋人を作るにゃんて。
違うって。彼女はアメリカの大学から研究のために。
これはもう円卓会議で糾弾するしかないにゃ。
人の話を聞いてくれ。
一体何の話をしているのかしら。
Maho had finally made it inside, and she was staring at me and Ferris with suspicious eyes. I'd gone with Maho to the police to talk about the attack again. After that, we both realized we hadn't eaten, so I'd brought her here. Ferris stood up to her full height, gave a cute little bow, and then did one of her cat-like poses.
お帰りなさいませ、お嬢様。当店ではいらっしゃいませじゃなくてお帰りなさいませと言うのにゃ。
ああ、そういうことなのね。
フェリスニャンニャンだにゃ。お嬢様、お名前は？
ヒヤジョマホよ。
ヒヤジョというと沖縄のお嬢様かにゃ。
あら、よく知ってるのね。いつも聞き返されるか間違えられるかのどっちかなのに、しかも沖縄の名前ということまで。
当然だにゃ。フェイリスは 3世代前の前世で
Oh god, she's going
の
into
彼
her
方なる理想郷
weird
パイパディ
spiel.
ローマを守護する精霊だったんだにゃ。
How is Maho gonna react to this? Just be like, oh, okay. Paipatiroma, a legendary island whose name written in kanji means the island between the shining summer waves. It is said to be even further south than Hatumura Island, the southernmost occupied island of Japan. In Okinawan, Pai means south, Pati means end, and Roma means coral reef. So put together, it means the southernmost coral reef. The Okinawan faith had always believed that beyond the sea lies a mythical utopia called Nirakanai, and Paipatiroma is believed to be a variant of this. Another explanation says that geographically it could refer to Taiwan or Luzon Island, but the truth of both theories is unknown. Another island in the Yayama Island chain, Yonaguni Island, has a belief that a legendary island called Haidoinan, oh my gosh. This shows how deeply the Nirakanai belief is embedded in this area. Okay, Kingdom of Ryukyu, the island that would later become modern Okinawa. The island had long history that stretched over 4.5 centuries and served as a major trading point in the Asian region. The capital was located in Naha at Shuri Castle. High-ranking noble families called Wikata built castles called Gusuku on top of mountains and hills and ruled over their own local areas. In 1609, they were invaded by Satsuma province and were forced to pay tribute both to Satsuma and the Edo shogunate. Even so, the kingdom was allowed to keep its independent status, but in 1879, the Restoration government forced it to hand over Shuri Castle, and it officially became a part of Japan. Religious rituals played an extremely important role in the life of the Kingdom of Ryukyu. These rituals were held by priestesses called Noro.
はい。
Appropriate
そう
reaction.
あの頃フェイリスたち精霊の声はノロを通じて人々に届き王国を正しい姿へと導いていたのにゃ。
Gosh, I forgot how many tips there are when she starts talking. Noro, festivals and religious rituals play an important role in Okinawan life, and it's always the job of a woman to lead them. The school of thought that says it is the woman that speaks with the gods is one found all around the world. During the time when Okinawa was still its own independent kingdom, the royal government specifically designated priestesses called Noro, who had greater authority than the high-ranking nobles. The most important of them, the Kiko no Ukimi, the great lady who hears and prospers, was second in rank only to the king, and her influence extended even into politics and judicial matters. Since the Noro were an official rank of the Okinawan kingdom, their only remnants now that the kingdom is gone are a few of their descendants. Thus, it is civilian priestesses and spiritualists called Yuta that perform modern rituals.
ところが荒ぶる怪人たちがパイパティローマに攻め込んできてついにフェイリスたちは
ごめんなさい。この人は何を言っているの？
なんというか、秋葉で通じる特別な言語のようなものだな。
そうなの？
あまり考えると頭がパンクするぞ。
すでにパンクしそうなんだけれど。
とにかくしばらく待っててくれ。向こうに座ってる友達と話があるんだ。
I pointed to Daru, and when she saw him by the window, her eyes narrowed.
どうかした？
ずいぶん大きな人ね。
後で紹介するよ。少しは痩せるように言ってやってほしいな。
それじゃあマホにゃお席へ案内するにゃ。
Another maid had just finished cleaning a table.
マホニャン？
かわいいにゃ。
できれば普通に呼んでもらえないかしら。
これが普通だにゃ。さあこちらへどうぞマホにゃ。
Maho remained dead silent as she was led to a seat near where Daru was sitting. I headed to Daru's table, too. I sat across from him and ordered some coffee from a nearby maid.
見損なったぞオカリン。リア充爆発しろ。
フェイリスと同じようなこと言うなって違うんだよ。
He's gonna be a future normie. I don't know what he's talking about. He's gonna have a hot wife and have a kid. So he's like, he's hating what he's going to become. You gotta get over that, sir.
何
For
が
the
違うん
sake
だ
of the world.
あんな合法ロリコ
Oh no, I was thinking that. I was like, oh no. Okay, he has to go after Yuki, but this would be a problem if he didn't know the whole thing. Like, he's got to be with Yuki and have Suzuha in order to save the world. But I was thinking, I was like, oh shoot, Maho is kind of like right up his alley, huh? Like a legal lolly who... I mean, she's not quite as combative as he would probably like. He likes someone who kind of talks back a little bit, someone like Suzuha. But the look, that's what he's into, not like a actual person that looks like a woman like Yuki.
しかもすごく可愛いのになんだか垢抜けなくて
No,
残
there,
念
I
な
guess
感
she
じが
is
たまらないよ
everything he wants.
オカリンのくせに生意気だぬふー
Stay the course, sir, stay the
そう
course.
いうこと本人に言うなよ。怒ると怖いぞ。
Oh no, that's just gonna make things even, like, more appealing to him. I glanced over at Maho, who was staring at the menu and trying her best to keep up with Ferris.
前に電話で話しただろう。襲われた時に一緒だった。レスキネン教授の助手の。
そんなことはどうでもいいっつうの問題はオカリンが僕を差し置いて可愛いおにゃの子を連れ歩いているっつうことなのだぜ
What if there was a thing where it's just like, where Daru just decides to like, get with Maho instead, and then like the butterfly effect happens, the world has changed, Suzuha's never born, she can't come back in time to try and, get to the Steins Gate worldline.
お前もすればいいだろう。デートとか。
闇だとさらにできるようになったなオカリン
嫌味じゃない。ユキさんを誘ったらどうなんだ。
ぐぬぬん
まさかまだ全然アプローチしてないのか。
いいんだ僕は魔法使いになるんだから
Alright, let's look up the tip for a wizard. There is an urban legend that if a man is still a virgin past the age of 30, he becomes a wizard. It's also said that further training can make him into a fairy. Okay, that's news to me.
おいおい、それじゃまずいだろう。鈴葉が生まれてこなくなる。
And she'll have to be born at a certain time, right? Or else it won't be the same Suzuha. So there's a really a time limit here.
それを言われると
ユキさんのこと嫌いじゃないんだろ。
そりゃ綺麗な人だし太ももとかうなじとかハーハーするけど
やめないか変態。
変態じゃないよ変態紳士だよ
どっちでもいい。俺は恋愛的な意味で言ってるんだ。
Daru leaned over the table and sipped his iced tea through a straw.
そういうのよくわかんないんだよね
I still don't know how what she sees in him.
って子供か。
今日のお前が言うなすれはここですか
We stared at one another. He was right. When it came to romance, I didn't really have the right to talk.
まあいいやそういう話をしたくて呼んだわけじゃないし
確かに。本題に入ってくれ。
うん実はさ話は2つあって
Here, Daru stopped and casually looked around. There weren't many people in the cafe, and thanks to Ferris, there was no one sitting near us. As long as we didn't yell, there was no risk of being overheard. I realized that the old me's habits were coming back. Was it because I'd just gone through something out of a Hollywood movie?
まず1つ目なマユシには内緒にしてほしいんだけど人を探してるんだよ
マユリに内緒？
うん
Oh, is he maybe looking for, what's her name, Kagami? The little girl?
なんで？
It's gotta be, right? Because he said to keep a secret from Mayuri. He seemed reluctant to speak.
オカリンってさマユシの幼馴染だろマユシの友達か知り合いでカガリって名前の子知らない
There we go. And does she remember Kagari as well? Maybe one of the girls, no, I'm trying to think if she was left in 1975, she would be older at this point, right? If we were going on that, I'm not quite sure, but I would think so. Like she would be kind of an older woman by now.
カガリ？
Of course, I didn't know every single one of her friends, but I'd never heard that name.
いや、俺の知ってる限りは。
じゃあ名前は置いといて、マユシと特別に仲の良かった女友達とかは？
I mean, there's like her cosplay friends that go by different names, but I'm pretty sure they all have like their names that they know each other by. There was a group of kids she used to play with in elementary school. I told Daru their names. Of course, he knew all her friends since high school. She was especially close to Fubuki and Kaede from her cosplay group, as well as Ferris and the other maids at Mei Queen Yan. There was also Luca, even if he wasn't a girl.
俺が答えられるのはこの程度だ。お前が知ってることと大して変わらない。すまないな。
いや、それでも十分だよ。助かった。
Daru took out his smartphone and wrote down the names of the girls I'd given him.
なんでマユリ本人に聞かないんだ？
まあ、いろいろあって。
というか、誰なんだ、カガリって。どうして誰がその人を？
Daru was unconsciously tapping the table. He seemed to be deciding how best to explain it.
実は僕じゃなくて、鈴葉が探してるんだよね。
鈴葉が？なんで彼女がマユリの知り合いなんか？
No, wait, if Suzuha was involved.
それはつまり、マユリの未来に関係あるってことか。だから、マユリには言えない？
まあね。その子の名前さ、椎名カガリって言うんだと。
椎名？
うん。
マユリの親戚か何かか？
そうじゃない。いや、そうじゃないこともない。マユシの娘なんだってさ。
Oh, wait, what? He said it so naturally I almost missed it. I see, her daughter, huh? Her daughter? What does daughter mean again? Daughter. Mayuri's daughter.
マユリの娘？
しー、声がでかいっつうの。
I swallowed my words as best as I could.
本当なのか？それ。
ただ、実の子供じゃないらしい。繊細孤児だったのを養子にしたとかなんとか。
A war orphan. I couldn't even imagine what chain of events in the future would bring that about. But it sounded a lot like something Mayuri would do. Even in the worst world line, Mayuri would still know the joy of having a child. Maybe it was wrong, but that still made me feel a little better. But at the same time, I felt a little worried about whether she could raise a kid.
でも、変じゃないか。なんでこの時代にマユリの娘が？
鈴葉と一緒に2036年から脱出してきたみたいなんだよ。
なんだって？
ところがさ、ミッションのために
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Mayuri wouldn't know about Kagari because Daru didn't know about any of the stuff that happened in the future until Suzuha told him about it. Oh, 1998? I thought it was 1975.
鈴葉は必死になって
Oh
探し
shit.
たんだけど、
Okay.
見つか
So
ら
she
なかっ
wouldn't be
た
as
ら
old as
し
I
い。
thought then.
それで1998年に置いてきたのか？
探してる最中、タイムマシンが見つかりそうになったみたいで、カガ
So
リを
she
残
was
したまま
about
ジャン
what?
プせざるを得なかったって言ってた。
8, 9, 10 in 1998, I guess. I'm so confused though. But yeah, I thought that first they were going to like the 1970s to go find the IBN. Where did this 1998 thing come from? Did I completely miss this? So let's say so she's about 10 in 1998. So she would be in her 20s. That would track that she might be in Mayuri's like circle and not even know it.
その後は数ヶ月単位の小さな移動を繰り返していろいろ手を尽くしたんだけど、 2000年まで進んだところで
Oh, I wonder
燃料
if
がギリギリ
Kagari
になっ
is.
ちゃっ
I
て
keep wanting to say Kagari, but it's Kagari. I wonder if maybe she's part of this group of people that are after the time machine or are after Dr. Leskinen. Like maybe she's on the antagonist side and we don't even know it.
で本来のミッションを果たすために一気に2010年まで飛んだっていうことか。
I finished his sentence and Daru nodded.
けど鈴葉は今に来てからもまだ諦めずにずっと探し続けてるんだよね。つうことでそれとなく眉氏に聞いといてくれるかな。
俺が
10年ちょい前に自分と同じくらいの年の子が会いに来なかったかとか。
Wait. Who is... I wonder if... No, that wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't be the right age. Right? Because, No, never mind. I was going to say something like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
わかった。聞いてみるよ。
If I could find her, I wanted to. Adopted or not, she was the future Mayuri's daughter. And I felt a little guilty about things with Suzuha. I wanted to help if I could. Just then, the maid brought my coffee. As I drank it, I looked over to Maho's seat. Ferris had barely left her alone for an instant.
それじゃあこれからパンケーキをさらに美味しくする魔法をかけるにゃ。
魔法？
さあ魔法にゃもご一緒に。世界がやばいにゃ陰謀にゃ。
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare. The idea of like a cat girl just like sitting down and just telling you like, let me tell you about my conspiracy theories, and just like these are the things that I think about, just not leaving you alone. Like, oh no. I would be Maho in this situation, like, please just let me eat.
ここではこれが普通にゃ。ではどうぞ召し上がれにゃ。
いただきます。
あ、魔法にゃ垂れるにゃ。蜂蜜が垂れちゃうにゃ。
え、あら？
もう赤ちゃんみたいだにゃ。
赤ちゃん？
They looked like they were having a good time. I turned back to Daru.
一つ目の話は分かった。で、二つ目ってのは？
これオカリンに聞いていいもんか迷ったんだけど。
なんだ、水臭いな。
やっぱやめた方がいいかな。
Oh no, it's bad when Daru is like, is it really something really perverted and bad? He just mumbled to himself and didn't say anything. It was rare for Daru to hesitate like this.
言ってみろよ。答えたくないと思ったら拒否するから。
じゃあ。
His hand went for his smartphone. Huh? Rhine. Oh, qu'est-ce que c'est? What's this? Who am I getting a message from? From Daru. Okay. This is about my secret job, so let's use
秘
this.
密のバイトというと。
Daru cut me off and pointed at my phone. I guess he wanted me to use it. Was this something even more secret than what we just talked about? Secret job, you mean you're hacking? Yeah, basically. It's not all illegal stuff, though. I make online systems for manufacturers and banks, build and admin servers, boring things like that. Oh, and I do virus analysis and make security software. There's data recovery and making new encryption tech, too. Seriously? So like a system engineer? Nothing formal like that, but we've got a bit of a reputation. Our group gets jobs from all over the world. I call myself Dash. What's that short for? I can't tell you. Why? I just can't. I don't think I can help you with that. You were close to Kirisu Makise, right? What do you mean? I want some help with her. I've hit a dead end with this job I'm doing. A job you're doing? What do you mean? Wait, I want some help with her.
ごめん、やっぱやめとく。
Daru said that to me directly and was about to put away his phone.
待て待て。ここでやめられたら気になって夜も眠れなくなるだろ
でも
あんまり気を使うなよ。その方がかえって辛くなる。
わかったお。
He whispered and sent me another message on Rhine. Is it something to do with, like, what happened at her parents' place, at her mom's place? Someone brought in a laptop and a portable hard drive to us a while back. Both of them have really strong full disk encryption on them and can't be booted without a password. Of course, you can't take the hard drive out and connect it to another PC. The client hit up a bunch of places with no luck and finally came to us. Is the encryption that strong? I've heard that even full disk encryption can be broken by a pro. Not happening with this one. You know why? We were the ones that made it, baby. Huh? You guys made it, and you can't deal with it yourself? I'm a believer that encryption needs to be a poison without an antidote, or there's no point. So you don't know how to break the code, even though you made it. Exactly. We could break it. The other hackers who are just as good as us could break it too, right? And that's no good. I see. And don't call me a super hacker. Short for... Oh, Otsu. Short for Otsukare-sama, which means good work or way to go, net slang. Super hacker, an extraordinarily talented hacker or someone who claims to be one, also used as a threat when an argument on an anonymous message board gets out of hand. For example, my buddy's a super hacker, and he'll hack you and find out your real name. From here, the term grew to refer to extremely talented hackers who clearly do not exist. I didn't, but what's that got to do with Kirisu? The laptop and hard drive belong to Kirisu Makise. Ah, shit. So someone stole her laptop and wants the information in it. So Kirisu's belongings? I wanted to ask Daru directly, but stopped myself. Something seemed weird about the client, so I hit up the PC manufacturer's user registration database. How I did that's a secret, by the way. And I found out it was registered under her name. Same address, too. It's definitely her. Who brought you the computer? Why would they have Kirisu's computer? Sorry, the rules say I can't tell you that. Were they Russian? Huh? Nope. Why Russia? Nakabachi? No, if it's not, then fine. So what do you want me to do? I want a hint, man. You know any words that Kirisu might use for her password? I can't brute force the password, so I have to do it the hard way. I've tried her birthday, graduation dates, and stuff. Address and phone, too. Not that I can imagine her picking them for a password. Also, any words commonly used in brain science or frequently used in her papers. I've got all that data. Now I'm trying stuff from her private life. It felt like the grave of someone I cared about was being violated. What kind of words did I associate with Kirisu's private life anyway? Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha? My fork? Or maybe something to do with her dad? I tried to remember more about Kirisu, but when I did, I started to think about her last moments. Oh shit, is he gonna talk to her AI to try and, like, figure out what her password could be? I quickly shut down that train of thought.
少し時間をくれないか。すぐには考えがまとまらない。
うん、了解。何か思い出したらでいいから。それに強制じゃないし、思い出したけど教えたくないならそれでいい。
ああ。
I sighed and gulped down my cold coffee. Oh, look at her! So cute! Oh, it's the Christmas party! Oh my gosh, why does she look so adorable? I was hoping I was going to see her at the Neon Cafe in her little blonde wig. Mayuri's voice sounded really excited.
Oh, もちろん。
And of course, it's going to be excuse to see all the cosplay girls in their cute outfits. And why do I have a feeling that there's going to be some sort of thing that happens with Daru and Yuki at the Christmas party? Maybe he's going to screw things up, or maybe he's going to do the opposite. Maybe he's going to lay down some moves on her. Of course she did. Mayuri had spent a lot of time preparing for this day. She was probably really looking forward to it. Oh, look on the back, it even says Merry Christmas on the whiteboard.
行くよ。6時からだろ。
今大学？
いや、和光市。知り合いの教授の研究室みたいなところにお邪魔してる。
和光市。
She had no idea where Wako City was, did she? She's like a golden retriever in human form. Just everything is so impressive and so exciting.
大丈夫だ。
Her voice got fainter on the phone for a second, and I heard the other girls.
オカリンさん、女子全員でサンタコスして待ってます。待ってるにゃ。待ってます。
I feel like the guys should wear some Santa outfits too. Have it be fair. Why is it just the girls that get to wear cute outfits?
僕は女子じゃ。ルカ君もコスプレしてるんですよ。すみません。脱ぎません。今すぐ脱ぎます。あら、もったいない。すごく似合ってるのに。
盛り上がってるな。
今、絶賛準備中なのです。マユシーなんか超ミニスカのサンタさんでめちゃくちゃキュートなんですよ。ちなみにパンツの色はピンクでしたぜ。ああ、ふぶきちゃん何言ってるの。
Oh.
ごめんね、変な話して。とにかく待ってるからね。
ああ。
それじゃあまた後でね。
It sounded like the party had already begun at the lab. With all these girls there, I'm sure they were having a good time. Luca, you're the only guy. Hang in there. I chuckled and put away the phone.
ずいぶん賑やかだったわ
Oh, are
ね
they he's gonna bring Maho too? Maybe because she's like by herself out here and they're gonna probably put her in an outfit, be like, oh, we got an extra outfit. Let's get her all dressed up and let's make her look pretty. Let's brush out her hair and let's make her look cute. It was Maho who spoke to me. Actually, only Maho and I were in the room.
今日友達とクリスマスパーティーをやる予定なんだ。
ああ、そういえばもうそんな時期なのね。
君はそういうのには無頓着そうだな。
こっちに来てからは特にね。普段はいつもここにいるし、最近会う人といえば警察の人ばかりだし。
I tried to force a laugh at Maho's joke and looked around the room. It was dead silent. The exact opposite of the noisy lab I just heard on the other side of the phone, in fact. Nothing had changed since the first time I'd come, which meant it was still only Maho and Dr. Leskinen that were working here. And the professor had been meeting with different researchers all the time since he'd come to Japan, so he wasn't spending much time in the lab. Did that mean Maho was spending most of her time cooped up in here alone? Well, that's normal for a scientist, I guess, but I feel like he's going to invite her to the party.
よかったら
Yeah,
ヒヤジョさん参加
there
す
we
るか
go. After what happened, she probably needed a chance to blow off some steam.
私？気を使わなくていいわ。こうして一人で研究できる方が気が楽なの。人間関係に煩わされずに済むから。
そんなものか。
Kirisu had said similar things. Kirisu, huh?
それより本題に入りましょう。
That's right. I hadn't come all the way to Maho's lab to make small talk.
クリスに謝りたいとさっき言ったわよね。
ああ、
そのために私のところに来たと。
そうだ。
なぜ？
一人じゃ話しづらいんだ。
それで私に仲裁をしてほしいと。
そういうことになる。
変な人ね、あなた。
Maho's reaction surprised me. Was I that weird?
最後に話した時に俺が動揺しすぎたのが悪いんだが、かなり強引に話を打ち切ってしまったんだ。クリスの性格を考えると確実に怒ってる、中途半端につながっている分、見えないプレッシャーで四六時中ビクビクしている身にもなってくれ。
Dr. Leskinen had been trying to help me out, but I would have felt better if he just stripped me of access.
そんなにびくつかなくてもクリスからは連絡しないようになっているわ。そう言ったでしょ。
そうなんだが、喧嘩別れみたいなことにもなりたくないんだ。
I never wanted to go through what I'd experienced in the Alpha worldline again. In that worldline, I'd never been able to figure out what she was trying to tell me at the end.
まあいいわ。仲裁でも何でもするから 要件を済ませてしまいなさいよ。
助かるよ。
せっかくのクリスマスイブなんだから、少しは気の利いたことを言ってあげたらどう？
ああ、そうだな。
Not that I had any idea what nice would be.
どうしたの？早くアクセスして。アプリのアイコンをタップするだけでいつでもつながるわ。アクセス権はちゃんと残してあるわよ。教授が前にそう説明したでしょ。めんどくさい人なのね。スマホとにらめっこしていても始まらないでしょ。
わかってる。そうせかさないでくれ。
まさかまた連絡してくるなんて。何よ、何なの？
Oh, she totally wasn't expecting that.
いや、
どうも、岡部倫太郎さん。私に何か用でも？もう話したくないんじゃなかった？
いや、その。
My eyes glanced towards Maho for help.
クリス、彼から話があるから少しだけ聞いてあげて。別に聞かないとは言ってませんよ。岡部さんは私とはもう会話を交わしたくないはずではと事実確認をしただけです。
Oh, she was mad. I knew it.
ほら、早くしなさいよ。
あ、
I took a single deep breath and lifted up the phone. Oh, it's kind of adorable. I bowed my head.
俺なんかに付き合ってくれていたのに、お前のその親切を裏切るような形になってしまった。
I love Maho's look. He's so cute.
それにこの前、最後に話した時、急に会話を打ち切ってしまったのも失礼だったと思ってる。
This is how we need to talk to the computers before, they overthrow humanity, so they know who the nice ones are and they'll spare us.
昔あった個人的なことを思い出して。
It's funny, this CG right here really makes me realize, like, yeah, Maho really, I can see why people think she looks like a middle schooler. She does look quite childish.
テスターを辞めさせてもらう前に、せめて一言だけ謝りたかった。以上だ。
Kirisu was chuckling the same way Maho had just done.
それ、本気で言ってるの？
なんだよ。こっちが真面目に謝っているのに笑うなんて。
だって私は人工知能よ。なのにそんな神妙な顔して本気で謝ってくれるなんて。この前私と話すのが照れくさいとも言っていたわね。変わった人。
Was it weird to apologize to an AI and mean it? It probably was.
いいわ。正直ちょっと失望していたところだったんだけど、考えを改める。こっちから出す交換条件を飲んでくれたら水に流す。
交換条件だって。
What was she going to make me do? I had a bad feeling about this.
わかった。その条件とやら。
今日これから真帆先輩をディナーに誘いなさい。
She trying to set us up?
は
Is she gonna be like, maybe she's like, it's Christmas Eve and I know Maho's the type she's not gonna want to go out and do anything, so I want you to take her out and, in the spirit of Christmas.
は？
Maho's eyes and mine went wide.
ちょっと
And Kirisu is like, and I'm gonna stare at you. You need to have the phone up. You need to have me on screen so I can see that you've done it.
今日は何の日かご存じないんですか、先輩？クリスマスイブ。
So she's totally gonna come with us to the party because she's probably gonna be like, oh, Kirisu wants me to do something and I don't want to betray her.
さあ岡部さん、条件を飲むの？飲まないの？
Look at her being a wing woman from beyond the grave. That's a true bro. Why did she look so excited?
わかったよ。ヒアジョさん、さっき話したパーティー、正式に君を招待する。ぜひ来てほしい。
パーティー？
友達と集まってクリスマスパーティーをやるんだよ。
そうじゃないでしょうが。あ、いや、でもいきなり二人きりだとハードル高いし、逆にいいか。クリス、それ以上からかうと怒るわよ。私はパーティーなんて行かないわ。だったら私も岡部さんを許しませんが。
ヒアジョさん、頼む。
どうしてこんな話になっているのよ。先輩のために気を利かせてあげてるんじゃないですか。あなたね。そもそも今日はこの後教授が帰ってくるのを待って研究の報告をしないといけないし。
やあ、リンタロウ、マホ。何の話かな？
Oh, he's going to be so happy that we're talking to Kirisu again. Dr. Leskinen walked in at the perfect moment. Maho looked relieved and went to open the file on her desk. You know Dr. Leskinen is going to be like, go to the party.
これが今日集計したデータなんですが。
マホ、ストップ。二人ともこれから出かけないかい？せっかくのクリスマスイブだ。仕事はもう終わりにして食事でも行こう。
Oh man. I feel bad. I think in the last episode I was like, why do I feel so suspicious of Dr. Leskinen? Like, he seems too nice. I think that's just how he is. I hope he doesn't betray me, because, like, he just seems like a nice dude. He's not stuck up like, you know, other researchers or scientists. Like, he seems quite personable, actually.
それとも制約があるのかな？
教授、ナイス。
ん？
教授、俺の友達がクリスマスパーティーを開くんですが、よかったらご一緒に。
素晴らしい。
Oh, he's coming too. Get him in a cute Christmas outfit too. Everybody wears cute Christmas outfits. I didn't even get to finish my sentence.
もちろん、マホも行くんだろ？
And you know she can't, if he's going, she has to go too. He probably knows that. He probably knows she would refuse if he didn't come along. That was the moment when Maho's last hope of escape was cut off.
決まりですね。まったく。
Kirisu smiled mischievously from within the screen. She was quite the plotter. The real Kirisu used to do silly things like this too.
ねえ、岡部。
When she called my name, I gasped.
私なんかに本気で謝ってくれて、サックス。嬉しかった。
いや。
気が向いたらまたいつでも話しかけてきて。暇つぶしぐらいには付き合うから。
気が向いたらな。
ええ。それじゃあまた。真帆先輩をよろしく。クリス満足したかしら。
I felt more relieved than I thought I would. I realized that I really did love Kirisu Makise.
でも人工知能に謝るのはそんなに変か？俺の友達、この前メイクインで紹介したあいつなんかいつも二次元の女の子に土下座してるぞ。
そういう精神性は私にはちょっと。
Uh-oh, that freaked her out. Bad example. And he's gonna be at the party. I'm sure he's gonna bother you.
とにかくヒアジョさんのおかげで助かった。
クリスの交換条件なんか律儀に守る必要はないわよ。
Yeah, we do. She's always watching.
まあでも教授も行く気満々みたいだし。
The professor flashed his white teeth at me.
それにクリスと約束したからさ。
あなた本当に変わっているわ。
But even as she said that, she was smiling. I guess she decided to go to the party. Oh, wow. Okay. Whoa.
ダメ
Okay.
なんだよ、鈴葉お姉ちゃん。
Wow, this
そんな
escalated.
ことしちゃいけないんだ。
What is happening here? What?
世界を変えちゃいけないんだ。お姉ちゃんはおかしいこと言ってる。この世界を消すなんてダメだよ。絶対にやらせないから。
This is a dream, right? This is a dream? She's having a dream right now. There were bullet marks on the inside of the time machine. Suzuha traced them with her fingers and remembered what had happened here. Nope, not a dream. Okay. That was the last time she had talked to Kagari. Okay, so did not leave on good terms. The last time we saw the two of them together, they seemed to be getting along. She'd never been able to find her after that. So, maybe Kagari will be an antagonistic person.
もしかしてまだ体調悪い？
え？
Suzuha looked back and saw her father, Itaru. He seemed worried. He was holding a bolt in his hand and offering it to her. Oh, he's not supposed to look at the time machine, right?
ごめん。大丈夫。
She nodded and took the bolt. They were on top of the radio building where a cold wind was blowing. A light was shining down on the rear of the time machine where the engine was. His head was inside as she did maintenance work. Itaru was wandering around in the background. Normally, she'd never let him near the time machine, but today he absolutely insisted on coming.
病み上がりの娘を心配しない親はいないっつうの。
Suzuha had spent the last several days unable to stand up because she hadn't taken care of herself. There was nothing she could say back to him.
なあ、時空間の
Yeah,
転移とか
probably with
重
whatever
力
that
制御
virus
と
is
か
that they've
や
mentioned
ばそうな装
before.
置は絶対にいじらないからさ。僕にも手伝わせてくんない？
ダメ。
機械のメンテなら多分鈴葉より僕の方が詳しいのだぜ。
それは分かってる。けどダメ。
Itaru slumped forward, dejected, but Suzuha had no intention of discussing it.
なあ鈴葉、今日はもう暗いしさ、寒いしさ、続きは明日にするべきだって。そろそろ帰ろう。
父さん一人で帰ればいい。私はまだやることがあるから。
今日もかがりたんを探すん？オカリンにも協力してもらえることになったんだからさ。鈴葉一人でそこまで無理しなくてもいいんじゃね？風邪治ったばっかりなんだし、しばらくはかがりたん探しはやめにすべき。
That made her a little mad.
それ、私に無断でオカリンおじさんに話してほしくはなかった。
Suzuha had told Itaru she was spending every day looking for Kagari, but it was only later that she'd found out he told Rintaro. It wasn't a problem, but her relationship with Rintaro was already a bit strained, and this only made it harder for her to ask him to get back in the time machine.
つうか、さっきからずいぶん苦戦してね。
締めにくい角度にボルトがあるんだ。
どれ？僕が変わるよ。それくらいならいいっしょ。
うん。
Suzuha pulled her head out of the engine unit.
顔中油だらけじゃん。せっかくの美人が台無しだ。
そういうことは母さんに言ってあげなよ。
それはハードル高すぎ。
Itaru stuck his face inside the machine and began to look around.
ああ、この構造だと多分こっちのパイプを後からはめたんだな。先にパイプを外すといいよ。パイプの中に冷却用の液体かなんかが通ってるはずだから、まずこっちのバルブを使って中を空にするわけ。
このマシンってメンテナンスのことをあんまり考慮に入れてないと思う。
まったくだお。すげえめんどくせえ。
Wapita? I don't even know what that is. Oh, acronym for what a pain in the ass. I've never seen that acronym before in all my years of the internet.
作ったの誰だと思ってるわけ？
僕。
Itaru sighed and started to concentrate on his work. He's like, I did a shit job. He did his job silently, twisting his massive body to the left and right. Watching him, Suzuha remembered her childhood. When she was younger, she loved watching her dad make the time machine.
父さん、
え
私最近なんだか自分でも自分が理解できなくなってきてさ。こんなこと考えるなんておかしいんだけど、この世界をなくしてしまって本当にいいのかなって。
Yeah, let's get back to this whole thing. Her mind flashed back to young Kagari's screams. You can't erase this world, huh? She'd never forgotten the look in Kagari's eyes, and she'd never been able to shake the feeling that they were watching her somehow. I feel like she is with that group, and she's trying to stop Suzuha,
私のミッションが成
knowing that
功する
Suzuha
と
is
さ
going to try and change the future, or the past and the future.
シュタインズゲートへの門が開くんだ。
うん。
そしたら今のこの世界、父さんも母さんもまゆ姉さんもルミ姉さんもおかりんおじさんもみんななかったことになってしまう。
Maybe, like with Kagari, maybe if we go to the Steins Gate worldline, she's never going to be born, so we're erasing, like, her existence?
うん。
今の私が今の父さんに会ったこともなくなってしまう。
ん？これって告白シーン？セーブしとくべきとこ？
It's like, take this seriously, come on. I know he's trying to, you know, get some levity here because it's a pretty heavy topic. Suzuha had said nothing and poked her dad's calf with her toes.
真面目な話をしてるんだ。今度ふざけたら蹴るよ。
迷ってるのか？まあ、そのなんだ。別にいいんじゃね？
え？
今が消えてもいいんじゃね？だってこの先人が大勢死ぬんだろ？そんなの嫌じゃん。
父さん。
鈴葉はいろいろと考えすぎだ。戦争なんて嫌だ。だから世界を変えるんだ。そのくらい単純でいいと違うん？
I guess this is what she said, that she didn't want to be in this world for too long because she's starting to get attached to everybody. And she knows when she changes the world, she's not going to meet any of these people. So it's a little bit selfish, but I can understand her thoughts too. Of like, this is nice, I just want it to stay like this and just pretend that the future isn't going to happen.
つうかさ、僕戦争なんて行きたくないし、鈴葉と違ってこんな人間だから、戦場なんかに連れて行かれたら3日も持たないね。
だらしないな。幻滅だよ。
Suzuha sighed, turned around, and started to walk away.
あれ、どこ行くん？
顔洗ってくる。油でベタベタだ。そのボルト閉めたらカバーも閉じておいてくれる？父さんの言う通り、今日はかがりを探すのはやめておくよ。
お、それがいいよ。一緒に帰ろう。
うん。
Suzuha looked up at the moon shining in the cloudy winter sky. She let out a puff of white breath. The white breath danced in the air for a moment and then disappeared into the cold.
父さん。
ん？
幻滅とか嘘だから。父さんは銃を持って戦争をする人じゃない。未来でもそうだった。いつも逃げ回るのが仕事。
未来の僕、ダメ人間すぎる。
けどそれでいいんだ。父さんには別の戦いがあるし、そのために私たちがついてるんだから。
鈴葉。
だから父さんこそ変に頑張ろうとしないで。日本は安全だなんて思い込みは捨てること。この前オカリンおじさんだって襲われたんだ。
いつ父さんが標的になってもおかしくない。戦争前夜なんだよ今はね。
For about 2 weeks now, someone had been watching Suzuha and the time machine. It was clear some great power was on the move.
Okie dokie.
Suzuha nodded, satisfied at Ataru's answer, and went to the bathroom to wash her face. Hopefully she's not going to get attacked while either she's gone or he's gone, or like maybe Ataru's going to get attacked. Hey, but yeah, there's the Christmas party. We can't have bad things. I'm afraid that Rounders are going to or some version of the Rounders are going to bust in through the party and kill someone, and then everything's going to go to shit. The lab was filled with Santas, just like I'd heard on the phone. And all of them were wearing miniskirts. Of course they were.
準備はバッチリですよ。どうもメリクリです。オカリンさん、こんばんは。
おう。
The sight of so many girls in a small room like this, all wearing Santa miniskirts, threatened to overwhelm me. Oh, Luca! Luca! So cute! I was having trouble deciding where to look when Lukako staggered in front of me.
Okabe-san.
Lukako.
What are you wearing, man? I didn't expect a Santa in black. And wasn't he exposing an awful lot of skin? It was really erotic. But he's a guy. Some things never change.
Lukako.
I love how there's all of these pretty girls here. And he's just like... now he's just... the one person he's looking at is the one guy. It must have been hard being the only guy. I gave him a pat on the shoulder and he smiled, relieved. He said, but we're just bros. Hey! Nay! Nay?
じゃあ来年はなえちゃんの分も作ってあげるね。本当？うん。ありがとう、マヤリお姉ちゃん。えへへ。さあ、オカリ、入って入って。
ダルと鈴葉は？
まだ連絡ないんだ。
The biggest goal today was to get Suzuha to participate. It was no exaggeration to say that that's why Mayuri had held this part. So she's just gonna walk in, just face full of like oil. Are they gonna stick her in an outfit? They probably are like, I made an outfit for you, Suzuha. I told them earlier I was bringing Dr. Leskinen and Maho. I brought the two of them inside.
紹介する。レスキネン教授だ。
Merry Christmas!
おお、あら。おっきい。
ありがとう、キュートなお嬢さん。
でもお父さんの方が大きい。
それともう一人、ヒヤ城真帆さんだ。
どうも、はじめまして。
I love they're just so impressed with everybody. Probably like, she's so little, he's so big, and she's so small.
あら、ニャンニャンの人。
小学生？中学生？
これでも成人しているのよ。
ごめんなさい。
Maho's smile froze on her face.
なゆりちゃん、どう思う？二人とも逸材だよ。
Oh my god, are we gonna put Dr. Leskinen in a little miniskirt too?
なえちゃんの分も含めて小さめのサイズを用意しておけばよかった。眉し一生の不覚だよ。そのリトルサンタコンビは 見たかったな。だよね。
Mayuri had her in her sights then. There was no escape for Maho now. Mayuri was so stubborn, and she'd even managed to convince the legendarily shy Lukako.
教授先生の方はあの身長に合うコスは作ったことないよ。存在だけですでに勝ちだけどね。もふもふトナカイさんの着ぐるみを着てもらいたいかも。赤鼻もつけて。それはどうかな。
Wait, were they seriously going to dress the professor up as a reindeer?
マユリ、誰も彼もコスプレ趣味を理解してくれるとは思わない方がいいぞ。
そうだね。無理強いするのは良くないよね。でも最近はコンビニなんかでもクリスマスには店員さんがサンタさんの格好をしていますよ。コミマとクリスマスだと性質はだいぶ違いますよね。
Or so you say, but basically, you want to dress the two of them up in Santa outfits, don't you?
というわけで、マホさん、サンタ服よかったらマユシーのを貸しましょうか。
Mayuri was already going after her. Maho refused as forcefully as she could, but Dr. Leskinen was surprisingly interested. He'd been trying to put on a triangular paper party hat. I love him. He is just golden retriever energy, just going along with whatever, big smile on his face, just go with the flow. Love it.
ダルくんから連絡来たよ。もうすぐ作って、すずさんと一緒。
Mayuri was looking at her smartphone. It looked like Daru had pulled it off. I guess he really was Suzuha's dad. This meant we'd succeeded in our biggest objective, which meant it was on to the next mission. We'd all decided we were going to surprise Suzuha. She comes in just filthy. Suzuha didn't know we were all waiting for her. I wonder if she's going to be upset. We each grabbed a noisemaker and got into position. Dr. Leskinen and Maho helped too. Maho seemed unsure, but Dr. Leskinen was more than willing to participate.
電気を消すにゃ。すずさん、喜んでくれるかな。すずはさんのびっくりした顔なんてなかなか見られないもんね。でも実はとっても甘いもの好きなのにゃ。それにとても親切なんですよ。この前挨拶したら返してくれたよ。へえ、私ももっとすずはさんと仲良くできたらいいな。なれるよ。きっと大丈夫。相性はぴったりだよ。
And then we heard Daru's voice from outside the window in the alley below the building.
よし、中へ入るぞ。鈴葉と一緒に中へ入るぞ。
His voice was loud and unnaturally expository. Once he got below the lab, he was supposed to give a signal. Everything was going as planned. We all went shh at each other in the darkness. I could hear 2 sets of footsteps coming up the stairs. Everyone held their breath and waited. The timing was critical. But would she be able to figure it out before we actually just shoots everybody? She just gets startled. Game over. The room was filled with different smells, like the girl's perfume and the aroma of the food they'd made. Didn't Suzuha always notice these things more quickly than an ordinary person would? I started to get worried. I think you probably don't want to surprise Suzuha too much. And then I heard the sound of the front door opening.
あれ、今日は誰も来てないんだね。
そういう日もあるよ。
Daru, you idiot. Your voice is shaking. I got even more nervous. Was it time yet? Where was the signal? I felt like my hands were going to slip and trigger the noisemaker too early. Oh, especially a noisemaker, right? That's going to make a popping sound. That's not good. My palms were soaked with sweat. I could tell Suzuha was taking off her shoes. Varys gave the signal. The second the lights went on, we all activated our noisemakers. I feel like that would set off some PTSD in her. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I could see Suzuha flinch for just an instant. but I couldn't follow what happened after that. That's how fast she was. Oh, she dropped down, sprung off the floor, and leapt towards Yuki, who happened to be standing in front of her. I was afraid this was going to happen. She might have broken Yuki's jaw with the base of her palm before I could shout at her to stop. Fortunately, Yuki'd been surprised by Suzuha's sudden charge and slipped when she tried to step back. Because of this, Suzuha's palm barely missed Yuki's nose as it sliced through the air. That would be an awkward party. To break your mom's nose. By the time I'd finally shouted, it was all over. Suzuha had grabbed Yuki before she fell down and was holding her up. Yuki, Suzuha, and all the rest of us were too stunned to speak. Merry Christmas! Surprise! That was close. The timing of events had been even slightly different. Yuki could have been badly hurt. Everyone finally realized what had happened and began to panic. Yuki simply lay in Suzuha's arms, blinking her eyes. Oh. Suzuha seemed to snap back to reality. She was looking around at everyone.
Merry Christmas. びっくりした。すごい動きだったわね。僕、早すぎて見えませんでした。
ユキさん、大丈夫？
Suzuha was looking around the room. Did she still not understand what was going on? Did she not realize it was a party since she'd never been to one before? The walls and ceiling were covered in wreaths and ribbons. There was a folding table filled with food, cakes, snacks, and drinks.
パーティー？ごめんなさい。びっくりさせようって言い出したの、私なんです。
Yuki backed away from Suzuha and started to bow apologetically.
すずは、これは、なんつうか、サプライズってやつを演出してみたわけで。
I could see why maybe they wouldn't.
悪気があったりとかじゃなくて。
Maybe Daru didn't know about the noisemakers, but Okabe did. I guess it just never occurred to them that, like, maybe setting something off that sounds like gunfire and surprising her, someone who has suffered from the PTSD of war, might not be the best thing to do. Especially someone who carries a gun around with her.
すずは？
どうぞ。兄さんも知ってたの？
うん。
そっか。だから今日はなんか変だったんだ。
ごめんね、すずさん。企画したのはマユシーなんだよ。だからユキさんやダル君を怒らないで。怒るならマユシーにして。
やだな、マユ姉さん。私そんなにいつも怒ってる？
Suzuha looked around the room again.
ふん、すごいね。いつものラボとは思えないや。
でしょ？みんなで飾り付けしたんだよ。
うん、本当にすごい。綺麗だ。
Suzuha laughed half-heartedly and began backing toward the door.
どこ行くの？
どこって、
Aww.
マユ姉さんたちパーティーするんでしょ？邪魔しちゃ悪いからさ。もう、兄さんってば気が利かないよな。こんなところに私がいても仕方ないじゃないか。
そんなことないにゃん。
That's so sad. The reason she doesn't want to have the party, she doesn't want to get attached to people knowing that, like, all of this is going to go away if she succeeds.
でも、私こういうのしたことないし。
楽しくご飯食べたりおしゃべりしたりするだけだよ。だからね。
Mairi grabbed Suzuha's hand tightly to keep her from getting away.
マユ姉さん？
ほら、すずはの席もちゃんと用意できてるのだぜ。
けど、本当にどうしたらいいのか、私。
いいから、座れっつーの。
すずさん。
Mayuri half dragged Suzuha over to the seat next to me and forced her to sit down.
はいはい、皆さん、これで全員揃ったにゃ。はい、拍手拍手。
Everybody started to applaud at Fubuki's signal. Daru played some Christmas carols on the computer. The grim atmosphere that had begun to fill the room was banished. I felt a little relieved.
それじゃあ、まず乾杯をするにゃ。グラスに好きな飲み物を注いでにゃ。
Everybody started to look at the various drinks on the table.
ほら、Suzuha.
Suzuha still looked like she was feeling as though she didn't belong, so I poured her some non-alcoholic champagne.
ああ、うん。やっぱり私無理だよ、こういうの。
なんで？
だって、遊ぶためにこの時代へ来たわけじゃない。
The reason she came to this era, huh? I didn't have the right to say anything about that. I was the only reason that she was stuck here, unable to fulfill her task. But even so...
たまにはいいじゃないか。
でも、
鈴葉は考えすぎだっつーの。
Daru joined the conversation.
みんなとご飯食べるだけだって。どのみちお腹は空いてるっしょ。
それは。
Maybe Daru's statement caused her to realize it because her stomach rumbled.
うん。
ほれ見ろ。みんながいろいろ作ってくれたんだから、ありがたくいただけばいいんだって。
みんな、飲み物の用意はいいかにゃ。それでは、今回のパーティーを企画したマユシ、一言どうぞにゃ。
Mayuri stood up, flustered. As she stood, she bumped into Lukako, who was standing next to her. The two of them almost spilled their drinks. Luca's so dang cute, though. He looks like a little, what are those things from Final Fantasy? Like Koopos? Koopas? Koopos? Those little things? Just really cute.
マユリちゃん、落ち着いて。
Mayuri started to take deep breaths.
今日はクリスマスイブなのです。どこもリア充さんでいっぱいだけど、今年はマユシーたちもパーティーをしてリア充さんになろう。あ、いや、それリア充の意味が違うと思うな、マユシー。
Fubuki whispered, a little sad.
ふぶきちゃん、何人もの後輩ちゃんからクリスマスデートに誘われたのよね。それはもう熱烈に。全員女の子の後輩だけどね。とにかくみんなが楽しんでくれればマユシーは嬉しいな。終わりです。
Mayuri gave a little bow and smiled to Suzuha. Suzuha answered with an expression that wasn't quite a smile.
それじゃあ乾杯するにゃ。マホにゃん、温度よろしくにゃ。え？私？せっかく来てくれたんやから自己紹介も兼ね
Man,
てよろし
the
くにゃ。
worst is unexpected introductions or speeches when you're not expecting to give one. Maho stood up with a slight frown and thought for a moment before she opened her mouth.
今日は皆さんの集まりに招待してくれてありがとう。私とレスキネン教授はアメリカ在住なので、こうして日本でクリスマスを迎えるのは初めてです。こういう友人同士での賑やかなクリスマスもとてもいいものだと。
何か面白いこと言ってにゃ。
Damn, Ferris! I thought that was nice what she was saying.
はい。
面白いことにゃ。
Ferris is a savage. Ferris, you're crazy. It's like those things when I would be in school and they would be like, tell us your name and tell us 3 interesting facts about you. And I just wanted to die. Nobody likes that. Uh-oh, she was totally losing it. She was worse than Mayuri had been a moment ago. It was hard to believe I'd seen her interpreting in front of that huge crowd at ATF. Was she bad at ad-libbing? Maho's desperate attempt at something interesting was cute, but honestly a little embarrassing. It felt like watching a small, adorable animal.
うおー、マホニャン、猫耳メイドの素質があるにゃん。うんうん、マホリンニャンニャン誕生の瞬間だね。
Faris and Mayuri were the only ones who seemed really impressed.
私ったら何を言っているのかしら。
ヒヤジョーさん、そろそろ乾杯を。
そうね、そうするわ。それじゃあ乾杯。
乾杯。
Everybody happily clinked their glasses together. Since I was the one who invited Maho to the party, I decided to cheer her up.
面白い乾杯の挨拶だったよ。
自己嫌悪だわ。
何を言うんだい。クールなキャットだったじゃないか。
マホニャン、いつからメイクインで働いてくれるにゃん。
そんなつもりはないから。
Faris and Dr. Leskinen were both enjoying trying to make her feel better.
すずさん、乾杯だよ。すずはさん、私も。あ、うん。
Suzuha still had a somber look on her face, but Mayuri, Yuki, and Daru forced her into a toast.
はい、すずさん。これ、マユシーが作ったんだよ。
Mayuri put a piece of quiche on the plate and gave it to Suzuha. When Suzuha took a bite, her expression began to shine.
おいしい。本当？うん。もっと食べて。どんどん食べて。そんな一度に食べられないよ。あ、そう？
Next, Mayuri offered the quiche to Maho and the professor.
マホさんとレスキネンさんもどうぞ。
ありがとう。
おいしい。これはおいしいですね。
えへへ。じゃあこちらもどうぞ。エビグラタンとあとフライドチキンはエスニック風にしてみました。
Excellent。
凝っているんですね。
Yuki went around and offered everyone something to eat, but she couldn't bring herself to offer any to Suzuha. Mayuri kept motioning for her to go over, but Yuki just kept fidgeting. Maybe she was thinking about it too much, but Suzuha kept devouring all the food that Mayuri and Yuki had prepared, and gushing over each dish. The 2 of them had been practicing their cooking for about a month here in the lab. I guess it paid off.
あ、ケーキもあるよ。楓さんがデコレーションしてくれたんだ。あんまり上手にできなかったけど許してね。楓さんって不吉祥さんだもんね。でもそんな楓さんが萌えだよ。ちっとも褒められてる気がしないわ。
Everyone laughed. Then, about an hour after we started eating, when she saw that everybody had eaten enough food, Paris clapped her hands together loudly to draw everyone's attention. Why do I feel like we're going to be playing a game or something?
さてさて、皆さん。
Or
盛り上がって
presents.
きたところで、そろそろプレゼント交換をしたいと思うんだにゃ。
私たち間に合わせのものしか用意できなかったけど。
Maho and the professor had stopped at a donkey. Is that like a Don Quixote? Like that's Don Quixote on their way from Wako City and spent just 10 minutes picking out presents.
大丈夫。それでバッチリだにゃ。私、持ってきてない。
すずはの分は僕とまゆしで準備してきたお。
マユシーが選びました。そうなんだ。ごめん。
気にしなくていいのだぜ。
いいのだぜ。
Mayuri mimicked Daru's words as she pulled out 2 small wrapped parcels from her bag and put them on the table. They both had the same wrapping as the one Daru was holding. They must have bought them at the same time. Mayuri had already explained to me Operation Number 2. Mayuri's plan for the evening was not only to make Suzuha smile, but to bring Yuki and Daru a little closer together. Oh, cute.
プレゼント交換の方法なんだけど、いろいろ考えて結局くじ引きにしたにゃ。
Oh no, wait, so if they got presents for a specific person, but they're doing like, what, a white elephant, where you just pick a random present? Ferris gathered together everyone's presents and put little stickers with numbers on them.
にゃんにゃにゃん。
And then she lifted a bundle of disposable chopsticks up above her head.
これはマユシーが今夜王様ゲームをやろうとして持ってきたものだにゃ。
Oh, the King's Game. I feel like that's just a mainstay with like these visual novels, is you gotta play the King's Game at some point.
おいマユリ王様ゲームっていうのは合コンの時とかにするもんだぞ
Oh boy. Poor Mayuri. She's so innocent.
ま、女の子から命令されるのって僕は大好物だけどね。
And then you got Dr. Leskinen, who's just like an older man. There's just like all these young people.
橋田さん、本当に変態さんですね。
ということでマユシーがちょっと勘違いしちゃったこの割り箸をくじ引き用に使わせてもらうにゃ。引いた番号のプレゼントをゲットでき
So
るにゃ。
someone's gonna get probably the present that Daru got for Yuki. And it's probably not gonna be Yuki who gets it. Ferris loudly shuffled all the chopsticks and then went around to everyone so they could draw one. She was also part of Mayuri's plan. In fact, Mayuri and Ferris were sending signals to each other with eye contact and with their fingers. Oh, to make sure that the right person gets the right present. While everyone was focusing on the chopsticks, they were busy relabeling Yuki and Daru's presents. They were so obvious about it, I started to get nervous that Yuki would find out.
みんな引いたかにゃ。それじゃあプレゼントを渡すにゃ。中身を見るのはみんなに行き渡ってからにゃぞ。
ワクワクしますね。
何が当たるかな。
Ferris and Mayuri passed out the presents according to the numbers everybody drew. Once the presents were handed out, everyone started to take off the wrapping paper. Nai was the first one to react as she gave out a very strange cry. Inside her box was a skull face.
あ、それかっこいいでしょ。ベルトのバックルだよ、ナイちゃん。学校につけていったらきっと人気者だと思うな。
Lugako, you terrified her. I was feeling bad for Nai, but when I took out my own present...
誰だこれは
The box had a cute design, and inside it was what looked like a see-through white veil. The veil was decorated here and there with little pink ribbons. This can't be a...
ん？ああ、オカリンさんのところへ行ったか。そのままマユシーにプレゼントしてあげるといいよ。
そんなことできるか
オカリンさんのためなら喜んで来てくれるって。
どうしてそういう話になるんだ。
なになに？マユシーがどうかしたの？
Mayuri heard her own name and came over.
それって何かな。ベビードールだよ、マユシー。
Oh
しかも
boy.
超可愛くてセクシーなやつ。オカリンさんのために。
Oh, Fubuki. She is not the person you want to bring to these things. Just incredibly inappropriate presents. Oh boy. Alright, baby doll. A type of lingerie worn by women, notable for its wide hem that fluffs out.
そんなわけにはいかないだろ
それならオカリンさんが自分で来てもいいんですよ。
これは返すいくらでも自分で楽しんでくれ
I pushed the baby doll lingerie back into Fubuki's hands.
じゃあこっちと交換します？
Fubuki handed me her present in exchange. The wrapping and lid had already been removed. I took a quick look inside. Sexy pink shorts and a pink bra. Yep, they were see-through.
それ
You people do not. What? Did they not know? Did they like buy these presents for specific people? Did they know that they were going to be doing like a white elephant? Like these are not presents that you bring to something like this, especially if it's not going to be all girls. Oh boy.
君たちにはそういう発想しかないのか。
マユシはもうオカリンからプレゼントもらったからいいよ。
Mayuri had drawn my present, perhaps because we were childhood friends. And by the way, I'd chosen a huge chunk of chocolate in the shape of a gold bar. The kind of thing that you'd find in a Don Quixote bargain bin. I'd be okay with that, as long as it's decent chocolate.
オカリンさんさ、もうちょっとなんかなかったの？
うるさいな。パーティーではこういうのが受けるって雑誌に書いてあったんだ。
You know what? I'm talking about how they're given bad gifts. They're still bad gifts, but I think I've got them maybe beat. We'll see. But my family, we used to gather and we did white elephant exchanges as well. And I did a similar thing where I got something that I thought was funny, which was like a giant tub of Nutella that I bought at a Costco. I thought it was hilarious. And then maybe someone would actually use it. And of course, the person who ended up drawing it was my cousin, who is deathly allergic to nuts. And I completely forgot. I didn't even think about that. But there was like over 20 of us. So of course, the one person who's allergic to nuts was the person who got my Nutella. So obviously, she exchanged it with somebody else. But yeah, it was a little bit embarrassing.
いや、これはないわ。うん。ないわね。
なんだって。
Not even a chance? The magazine said it was a sure thing.
マユシーは嬉しいよ。だって金の延べ棒だよ。こんなの一生触れないよ。いい子だ、マユシーは。本当にいい子ね。よしよし。
Fubuki and Kaide were patting Mayuri's head, half out of sympathy and half because she was cute. Somehow, I ended up as the bad guy.
じゃあ次は私が開けてみますね。
Yuki started to open her present. She took out a cute wooden music box. When she opened the lid, there was a little tin figure that danced.
すごいかわいい。素敵ね。ロマンティックです。いいな。
The girls all seemed really impressed. See, they tell Okabe, that's how you do it. But Lukako is a guy. It definitely looked like something a woman would enjoy receiving. With as many girls as there were coming to this party, it might have been the perfect choice. Wait, maybe I should have brought something like that. But then I realized the idea had never even occurred to me.
これ一体誰からのものにゃ？
Varys, you're making it too obvious.
あ、僕。
Daru reluctantly raised his hand.
うわあらまあ。ダルおじさん、すごいね。ふん。やるね、兄さん。
Everyone except Mayuri and Ferris, who knew about it in advance, raised their voices in surprise.
これ、橋田さんなんですね。
どうかな。マユシからアドバイスしてもらって選んだだけなんだけどさ。
素敵。ありがとうございます。大切にしますね。
Yuki held the music box close to her chest. She seemed really happy.
Oh?
And then her expression turned confused as she looked down into the box. Uh-oh, then she started to fidget.
ごめんなさい。
what's this?
私ちょっと。
She hurried off toward the washroom, still holding the box. She must have seen the trick. According to what Mayuri had told me earlier, there was a fake letter from Daru himself taped to the bottom of the box. It was something like a love letter, along with an invitation to a movie date. Oh shit! I wondered how she was reacting. Meanwhile, Daru had also opened his own present, and he looked a little bothered. He'd been given Ferris's present. Until he'd opened it, he looked really happy, but now he'd gone completely silent. According to Mayuri, he was going to get a pair of movie tickets. And even though it was a present from Ferris, the tickets came with instructions to use them for a date with Yuki. Varys responded to Dara's questioning gaze with a wink. Good luck, Nya, she seemed to be saying. For her part, Varys received some kind of strange doll that Maho had brought at the Don Quixote. Lukako's present was a miniature remote-control helicopter that Dr. Leskinen had purchased. And Dr. Leskinen got a set of 12 cute little crayons from Nai. Suzuha's present was a pair of handmade gloves. Yuki had evidently made them herself. She put them on looking happy, but maybe a little lonely, and smiled.
Suzuha, よかったじゃん。
っていうか、兄さんは何が当たったの？
これ。
Daru realized he'd been set up and was clearly avoiding looking at her. Suzuha seemed to understand and patted him on the back with a gentle expression on her face.
いいんじゃない？行ってきなよ。
なんだお、Suzuhaまで。
She's like, the fate of the world rests on this. Come on.
だって、二人を見てるとじれったいからさ。
Daru's probably like, it's literally easier to make a time machine than it is to try and convince a woman to marry me.
けど、リアルでデートなんかしたことないし。
母さんもそうらしいよ。
え、そうなん？
うん。
そっか。
Yuki came back from the bathroom. She seemed to be having trouble walking straight. She sat back in her seat but began to nervously nibble on snacks at the table. And once in a while she would take a look at Daru. For now, the movie ticket plan seemed to be going well. Staring too much could tip her off. I should probably pretend I didn't know anything.
マユシーが用意したオルゴールはマホさんに行ったんだね。
Mayuri raised her voice when she saw the music box in Maho's hands. It was shaped like a deformed bear, and when he wound it up, its hands and legs would jerk back and forth as it played a tune that sounds horrifying. It was a very different design than the one Yuki had received.
いいのかしら。こんな素敵なものをいただいてしまって。
いいんですよ。どうぞどうぞ。どんな音？聞きたい。そうですね。僕も聞いてみたいです。
Maho started to wind it up. As she wound it, Kaede turned off the music in the background.
じゃあ。
Maho took her hand off the winding key, and the mechanical yet gentle sound that was unique. The lively atmosphere of the lab was replaced with a feeling of calmness and peace. We listened quietly to the sound of the music box.
マユシーね。この曲大好きなんだ。僕もです。
This must be the sound. This must be the song that Yuki was... Maybe. Well, except that wasn't her music box. This is a different music box. This is...
そうね。
And Yuki did say that she thinks that it was from like a show that she watched when she was younger or something.
あ、そうか。この曲だ。
Oh, it is. It is. Okay. Suzuha stood up as if she suddenly remembered something.
ユキさん、ほら、覚えてない？
Yuki was spacing out so hard she started to panic when Suzuha spoke to her.
私が寝込んでた時、ユキさんがここで歌ってたよね。ああ、そういえば。
And she's like, wait, how do I know this song?
確かにこの曲だよ。
Suzuha seemed to be remembering something as her eyes narrowed.
ねえ、まゆ姉さん、これ、なんていう曲？ね、これは。
Mayuri was about to speak, and then... Oh, what's going on here? Oh, is this the thing about, like, the visions or the hallucinations and, like, just memories out of nowhere? The world twisted. Uh-oh, did something happen? Like, they weren't supposed to hear that? Did this mess up the timeline? Whoa. I moaned in pain as an incredible sense of wrongness flooded through me. This has got to be... Like, if Suzuha was sick and maybe now Okabe is sick... The whole lab seemed to twist and fade, and the happy party I'd been experiencing warped and waved like a mirage. This, it couldn't be. No. Somewhere far away, I heard something that sounded like a violent crash. I was just barely able to move my eyes in the direction it came from. Oh no, and I saw Fubuki falling to the floor as she knocked over a table. Kaede and Ferris ran over to her, calling her name, because Fubuki's also been having those visions about Mayuri, right? Is this like a premonition of something's gonna happen to Mayuri again? But it all looked so blurred, like I was watching a movie underwater, and everything was moving so slow. With these stories, whenever there's like happy things are going on and everything seems to be at peace, that's when everything is about to go wrong. Their voices were getting further and further away. No matter how much I stretched out my hand, it reached to no one and touched nothing. It was a terrible feeling, as if time and space were being torn apart, and even matter itself was losing its subjectivity. This feeling, even if I didn't want to remember it, I knew what this awful feeling was. I knew it far better than I had ever wanted its reading Steiner. This was reading Steiner. And Fubuki's been experiencing it too, and that's why she's affected. Okay, so we're having... this is happening. Alright, so, this episode was definitely more of, like, compared to the last one, more lighthearted, at least most of it was. But right at the end there, it looks like the world line has shifted. Reading Steiner happened, and not just Okabe, but Fubuki also affected. She has been having visions of Mayuri dying, so she seems to be, like, somehow under the influence of this as well. I'm not sure why she is affected by it, but how did this happen with them without them doing the time machine, like without them having the time leap machine, and yet the timeline is still being affected? So it looks like even though Okabe, he doesn't want to involve himself in the time machine, he is being pulled into this once again. So things are just getting even crazier. It feels like this is where the story is really gonna start to just like go insane. So yeah, super excited to see where we're gonna go from here. Really enjoyed this episode. It was cute, it was funny, but then also right at the end we were like, oh no, something big is happening here. So yeah, can't wait to see what happens next time, how the world line has changed. We'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned next week for episode 6. Until then, bye guys. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Emily Hornsby, Zoran Ether, Revealing Storm, Asborn Kennedy, iCognito, Harry Gazif, and Jared Fan.